This series of videos is called Navigating the Q2 or Question 2 Prose Excerpt. In AP English Literature, you'll be writing 3 types of essays, and this series focuses on the second type of essay you'll write, what we call the Q2 or Question 2. In this type of essay, you'll be looking at a short excerpt from a fictional work and responding to a prompt. For this part of the series, we will be looking at how to earn the thesis point and what a defensible claim looks like. You'll see on the rubric that for this section of the rubric, you can earn up to 1 point for writing a thesis that responds to the prompt with a defensible interpretation of the passage. This is what we call a defensible claim. It is really important that you earn this single point at the beginning of the scoring on your rubric in order to be able to maximize the number of points you get in order to pass the AP exam. The rubric for this type of essay has 6 points possible with 3 categories. First, we'll look at the prompt because we have to look at the prompt in order to be able to know what kind of a claim we want to write. Here in the top box, you'll see the template from the College Board that shows the stable wording that they've selected for these types of prompts. In these prompts, you will have this setup. The following excerpt is from, you'll find out the name of the text and the author, the date that it was published. And in the passage, something is happening, and they're going to give you a little bit of detail about what's happening. They ask you to read the passage carefully, and then, in a well-written essay, analyze how the author is using literary elements or devices to do something. And we're going to focus on the doing here of the author in order to write our defensible claims. You can see this sample prompt at the bottom where we've actually filled in the information that is bolded in that top box. And it reads, the following selection is the opening of Anne Petry's 1946 novel, The Street. Read the selection carefully, and then write an essay analyzing how Petry uses literary devices to establish Ludi Johnson's relationship to the urban setting. And so here, what we want to focus on is the part that looks at what Anne Petry, the author, is doing in this prompt. So we want to see what literary devices she's using in order to establish a relationship between the main character, Ludi Johnson, and the urban setting in which she lives. Here, you can see a thesis that was written but did not earn the thesis point. In Anne Petry's novel, The Street, she establishes Ludi Johnson's relationship to the urban setting through her use of literary devices such as imagery, personification, selection of detail, and figurative language. In this thesis, we really see a restatement of the prompt because the first thing that we needed to do was to be able to determine what kind of a relationship was established between Ludi Johnson and the urban setting. Here, the student author does acknowledge that the author creates a relationship between Ludi and the urban setting, but doesn't name what type of a relationship it is. Additionally, this student author does name a variety of literary devices that are being used, but doesn't tell us what the effect of those literary devices is. You can see the notes at the bottom here that the bullet point 1, restating the prompt, applies to this particular thesis. And bullet point 3 also, this author talks about features of the passage, the literary devices being used, but does not make a claim about what's happening in the passage. In contrast, you can see this thesis did earn the point, and it reads, in the excerpt from Anne Petry's The Street, Ludi Johnson's separation and opposition to the urban setting is emphasized through the personified quality of the wind. Here we earn the point because the author here shows that Ludi Johnson is both separated from and in opposition to the urban setting. I've named that relationship, and I've also shown that that relationship is being emphasized through personification, in this case, the personified quality of the wind. So this thesis does respond to the prompt and gets that point. Next up in our series, we'll look at part 2 of the rubric, evidence and commentary.